Okay, hello everyone. We are back. So we're going to continue with the problems on the GRE or ETS website. Next type of problems are the multiple choice problems. So let me share my screen and we will get into it. Okay, first of all, there are two types of multiple choice problems. One of them where there's just one answer correct, and then after that, we're going to go into the ones where there's multiple correct. In the actual exam, all the questions, all the multiple choice questions with just one answer correct will have little circles around A, B, C, D, and E. And if there could be more than one correct, it will have squares. So that's just a little convention that just to get used to. So, all right, let's do the first one. It's algebra. It says 5x plus 32 equals 4 minus 2x. How do you solve for x? Well, you want to isolate x. In all algebra problems, you want to isolate the variable. So let's try to get the variable on one side. I like to get rid of the negatives first, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides. That would give us 7x plus 32 equals 4. After subtracting 32 from both sides, we have 7x equals 28, negative 28, sorry. Well, then you just divide both sides by 7. There you go. We have negative 4. So basically in algebra, you want to isolate the variable. And in order to do that, you need to get rid of everything that is not the variable. And by getting rid of them, you do the same thing to both sides, the opposite of what it is. For example, if you have x plus 2 equals 7, we have a plus 2. You do the opposite of plus 2 to get rid of it. You subtract 2, and you have to do it to both sides. And then you get x equals 5 because 7 minus 2 is 5. Okay, let's keep going. It says, which of the following numbers is farthest from 1 on the number line? So imagine a number line. Well, the 1 is slightly to the right of the 0 on the number line. What number would be farthest from the 1 then? If you guessed 10, then you're right. Or negative 10, I meant to say. If you guessed negative 10, then you're right. The 10 is only 9 away from the 1, but the negative 10 is 11 away from the 1. So that's not a difficult one. This next one is a little bit hard. It says there's a figure. Looks like this. The f of x equals the absolute value of 2x plus 4. First of all, this is a line. Basically, they draw out this equation for you, so that's nice of them. This is this. Now, you're probably used to seeing equations that represent lines that look like, y equals mx plus b, not with functions. Well, this is the same exact thing. This is really just y equals the absolute value of 2x plus 4. It's the same exact thing. In fact, it tells you here y equals the f of x. There's f of x. Y is this. And you've probably seen lines that say something like, y equals x minus 2, something like that. The minus 2 is the b in y equals mx plus b. That's the y-intercept. In front of the x, there's no number. So you just place a 1. The 1 is the m in the mx plus b, which represents the slope. If the slope is 1, it means it goes up 1 every time it goes to the right one. It goes up 1 every time it goes to the right one. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Any line with a slope of 1 actually is a 45-degree angle. Well, this line here has a slope of 2, by the way. 2 going up on the right side of the y-axis and 2, negative 2, because it goes down on the left side of the axis. By the way, any slope that's negative is going down from left to right. Any slope that's positive is going up from left to right. Let's read the question though. It says, which of the following functions, these, defines all numbers in x, all numbers x, defined for all numbers x, does not intersect this? So which of these lines does not intersect this? Well, first of all, we know that parallel lines never intersect each other. They always just go right next to each other forever. Which of these lines are parallel to this, the line on the right side of the V? Basically, which of these lines has a same slope, a similar slope? That would be C and D. They have the same exact slopes. Remember, the slope is what comes right before the X. The second part is the Y-intercept. Now, it asks which numbers would intersect. Of course, any two lines that have different slopes intersect each other, but only if they go on forever. This line here that has a positive slope stops right here. Let's look at y equals x minus 2. The y-intercept would be down here, and it would go 45 degrees this way. This one is steeper. This one goes, I don't know how many degrees, but it goes up faster. So they would constantly be growing apart. They would never intersect. With a y-intercept of 3, the same thing would be happening, but they would just start closer, but they would still grow apart. Even though in this case, the y-intercept is -2, this slope is 3, which is steeper than this one. Even though they start far apart, they would eventually intersect. That's why E is the only answer that's correct. C and D are parallel, so they are always next to each other. A and B grow apart, and E connects eventually. All right. Here's an illustration of, I think that's for the first one, yeah, for A. Okay, let's keep going. 4, a car got 33 miles per hour using gasoline that costs $2.95 per gallon. Approximately, what is the cost of driving 350 miles? So I'll give you a moment. Pause if you need. The first question I would ask myself is, how many gallons am I going to use in this trip? How many gallons does it take to go 350 miles? If I need 1 gallon to go 33 miles, then I might just divide 350 by 33 to see how many gallons. That would give me something a little bit over 10. That's how many gallons I need. And this is the price per gallon, so I would multiply it by the price. It's going to be something close to 30. A little bit over 10 times a little bit under 3 is going to be close to 30. They give you exact numbers here. And there you go. 31.287 is the exact answer. But you can estimate there. All right, let's try this next one. Before you start, I do want to say that any probability problem is usually the desired outcomes over the total possible outcomes. All right. So we have 60 jelly beans, and then a bunch of them in different colors. If I were to choose one of them at random, what is the probability of it neither being red nor purple? So pause if you need. What is the number of desired beans here, jelly beans? Well, there's not red and not purple. Would be white, green, and yellow. What is the sum of the white, green, and yellow jelly beans? Why would I want that sum? Well, I'm looking for desired outcomes. So I can put that over the total. The total, by the way, would be 60. Total possible outcomes is 60. The desired outcomes would be 33 plus 18, which is 22 plus 11 plus 18 is, let me just get the answer, 51. 51 over 60 is going to be 85%. 85% chance, which is 0.85. So there you go. All right, so that's all the multiple choice single answer. Let's keep going though. Let's do the multiple choice multiple answers correct. By the way, I do want to say, sometimes there is only one, sometimes only one answer could be correct, even if it says multiple answers could be correct. At least one will be required. And sadly, in the GRE, there's no partial credit. So sorry about that. So let's start. It says between two of the following numbers, which of the two following numbers have a product between -1 and 0? Ooh. First of all, a product is when you multiply two numbers. So basically, a number between -1 and 0 is definitely negative because it's less than 0. What two numbers multiplied by each other give you something less than 0? And a fraction between 0 and -1. Let's start off with less than 0. Obviously, two negative numbers multiplied by each other is going to give you a positive number, so it can't be A times B. Don't be fooled by a negative fraction. That does not mean it's a negative number. A negative fraction just means, a negative exponent. A negative exponent means 1 over 2 to the 4. 3 to the -2 power is 1 over 3 squared. This is 1 over 9 because 3 squared is 9. This is 1 over 16 because 2 to the 4th power is 16. Well, basically, which of these two do I need to multiply by one of these two? Because we're looking for a negative number, negative times a positive, would give us something between 0 and -1. So let's just try them out. -20 times 1 over 16. With fractions, you multiply straight across. 20 over 1 times 1 over 16. The 20 times 1 is 20, and the 1 in the 16 is 16. So that would essentially give us -20 over 16. Well, that is less than -1. It is not between 0 and -1. Let's try the next one. Let's try -20 and 1 over 9, which is 3 to the -2 power. Again, we would end up getting 20 times 1 over 9, which is 20 over 9. Negative 20 over 9. That again is less than -1. Let's try with the 10. -10 times 1 over 16 is going to end up being -10 over 16. And there you go. That is definitely less than, or it's between 0 and -1 because the absolute value of 10 over 16 is less than 1. So that's our answer. B and C together makes our product. So both B and C would be our final answer because this is indicate the two numbers. Okay, let's keep going. Which of the following integers are multiples of 2 and 3? Multiple just means, like 6 is a multiple of 3 because 3 and 3 is 6. 3, 3, 3 is 9. 3, 3, 3 is 12. 3, 3, 3, 3 is 12. Anything that is divisible by 3 is a multiple of 3. Anything that is divisible by 2 is a multiple of 2, obviously. All right. Which of these numbers can be divided by 2 and 3 is what it's asking. Can 8 be divided by 2 and 3? No. Can 9 be divided by 2 and 3? No. By the way, because 9 is an odd number, no odd numbers can be divisible by 2. That means we can take E out as well. Let's try 12. 12 divisible by 2? Yes. What about 3? Yes as well. 18? Also a yes. What about 36? Yes. C, D, and F are our final answers. All right. There you go. C, D, and F. Okay, let's keep going. We have a company. We have people being paid $25,000 a year, and we have people being paid $35,000 a year. Department X is the people with 25K, and Department Y is the people with 35K. They tell us that there are twice as many employees in X than Y. I'll keep that highlighted. X has at least twice as many. There are more than twice as many in X that there are in Y. So there's definitely more in X, meaning there are more being paid less. It says, which of the following amounts could the average salary for all of the employees of the company? Which of the following amounts could be the average? I might start. Well, first of all, I want to say is it's impossible to know exactly because it just says that there are more than twice as many employees in Department X than Y. So we don't know the ratio. We have to solve for the two extremes and then choose the answers that are within that extreme. If I had more in X than in Y, then my average would be skewed towards the number of people in Department X. Why? Because imagine if you had a room full of people who are 6 foot tall and only one person who's like 5'4". Would the average be exactly between 6 foot and 5'4"? No, the average would be very close to 6 feet. Our average is getting closer to the 25,000. Let's go to the extreme. Let's say, it says more than twice as many employees in Department X. So let's say there are 1 million people in Department X and only one in Department Y. Then of course our average is going to be very close to 25,000. So let's use that as our minimum. 25,000, we'll say 25,001 cents is the average. Now we need to find our maximum extreme. Our maximum extreme naturally would go the other direction. We need to have as many people in Department Y as possible. It tells us that there are more than twice as many in Department X than Y. Let's just go to that extreme. Let's say there are twice as many people. Let's say there are 2 people in X and only 1 in Department Y. This will be our maximum extreme of the possible value of the average salary. They actually solve it for you, I believe. Yes, they do it here. An average is the total over the number of things being measured. So we have 2 at 25,000 and 1 at 35,000 divided by the number of employees, which is 3. That would be the average, given that there are twice as many exactly in X than Y. This is our maximum extreme. Our minimum extreme was 25,001 cents. Our maximum extreme is here. What are your answers? A and B. They're between our two extremes. Solving for extremes is very important in the GRE. It will save a lot of time too, because anything in between is a waste of time between the two extremes. Solving for anything in between would be wasting your time. Okay. Number 4. Which of the following could be the unit digit of 57n, 57 to the nth power? N is a positive integer, so n is at least 1. Could be 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we have multiple digits here. That could be the answer. What could be the units digit? The units digit, by the way, is this. The one right next to the decimal, the smallest one. The tens would be the 5. What could be the units digit if n were 1? 57 to the 1 power. Well, definitely just 7. 57 to the 1 power is itself. The units digit would be 7 in that case. So we have 7. What would be 57 times 57, though? I mean, that's, and then 57 times 57 times 57, and then another 57. That would be a lot of work, right? Well, let me demonstrate something. 12 times 12 is 144, right? The units digit is 4. 2 times 2 is also 4. In fact, well, let's go again. Let's do 11 times 11. That's 121, right? The units digit is 1. 1 times 1 is also 1. No matter what numbers you multiply by each other, you can know the units digit of the product by just multiplying the two units digits of the two numbers being multiplied by each other. So for example, the product of 57 times 57 will have a units digit of 9 because 7 times 7 is 49. So if n were 2, then we'd have 9. We can keep going. If n were 3, it would be 57 times 57 times 57, right? 7 times 7 is 9, which is 49, or 7 times 7 is 49, which would give us a 9 unit digit. Multiplying another 7 by that would give us 3 as our unit digit. 9 times 7 is 63. Well, we'd just keep going. We would think, okay, 3 now. 3 times 7 is 21. So the units digit in that case would be 1 if n were 1 greater. And then we end up being in a loop because if n were 1 greater than that, the 1 times the 7 would go back all the way to the 7. So this is the key here. You can do this with a calculator. You can go 57 times 57 times 57 times 57, keep trying, and you'll eventually find out that there's a loop. But I'm just saying, like, understanding principles of arithmetic can save you a lot of time. So 7 obviously is our first answer. 7 times 7 is 49, so 9 is our second answer. 9 times 7 is 63, so 3 is our third answer. 3 times 7 is 21, so 1 is our next answer. And then finally, 1 times 7 is back to 7. And those are your answers. B, D, H, and J. There you go. Okay. That is all of our multiple choice questions. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. If you want to help me out, please subscribe. And if you need more help, consider going to my website by clicking on the link below. It's applyconfidently.com to get some one-on-one tutoring with me. Just click the schedule a free call button, and we can talk about what I can do to help you. Also say that you saw me on YouTube, and I'll give you a 10% discount. So have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.